Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of BEI Live. I'm excited to be here with you today. I am Cedrick LaFleur, and we have a great show planned for you. We also have my co-founder and partner, Miss Angela Hooper-Menifield. How you doing, Angela?
I am good, Cedrick. I am real good.
Well, that is awesome. So we're going to go ahead and kick this live show off, and hopefully, we've been having some technology challenges. Hopefully, we are out there and
Yeah, I'm
people
about to go
see
check
us.
right now.
Yeah, that would be weird if we were just sitting here talking to ourselves. So, hello everyone. I'm excited to be here with you today. Today we have an exciting show planned for you. I tell you what. Hey, go. But let me say this first of all. That background, that's not a virtual background. That's me in the beach house, baby. I'm excited to be here with you tonight. We're going to be talking about expanding your business, how to expand your business, how to grow your business. We're going to give you some different ideas. We want you to throw some out. Maybe we don't mention one that you're doing to expand your business. Throw it out there in the comments, and we'll pop it up on the screen. But tonight, we want you to understand how to grow your business. We want you to understand how to take your business to the next level. We want you to understand that expansion is the key to additional profits. Expansion is the way to new business in your business. You see, McDonald's, Burger King, Apple, Spotify, Sirius XM, all of these businesses look to expand. Even the platform we're on right now, Meta, Facebook, they look to expand, and that's what we're going to be talking with you about with you tonight. So sit back, relax, make sure you invite a friend, share this with someone. And Angela, are you ready for a great show?
I'm ready for a great show too, but I feel it's only appropriate since Cedric highlighted that he's at the beach house. I'm at the farmhouse. Oh, and then you can see the farm ceilings, right? Like it's a straight up farmhouse.
Yes, Angela is at the White House, is what I call
Oh.
it. So, well, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to a great show tonight. So, hey, let's just do this. We're going to start by just kind of introducing ourselves, because there may be some people that may not know who we are, and they think, hey, who are these two people? What are they talking about? How do they know what they're talking about? So let's do this. Let's just give the audience a little background on us, and I'll let you start, Angela, to let the audience know who you are and what you represent.
Well, welcome everyone to the BEI Live Show. We are really excited to be here. So, I am one of the co founders of the Black Entrepreneurs Institute. And just a little bit about my background before I lunged into the world of entrepreneurship, I actually had the awesome opportunity to spend about 28 years working for the federal government. And as a result of me working for the federal government, not only did I learn how to manage their business and do it at a high level, because by the time I left federal service, I was actually managing about 4,000 employees and overseeing a 60 to $70 million budget. And so I am a perfect example, is like I like to refer to as working my way up the organization. And as a result of that, I really began to see the need for personal growth and how to really do something more meaningful with your team as you look at how do you get a better organization. And so I started creating trainings and different things like that. And the next thing I knew, not only were our results better, but what happened was other government agencies were reaching out to my supervisor, Cedrick, and saying, can Angela come here and do that for us? So of course we said yes. But the thing that resonated with me was they weren't paying me, Cedric. because I was a government employee. They just took my little labor, right? Because your government can't pay a government employee to do that type of work. And then I'm watching these other trainers come in and they're paying them $2,000 and $3,000 a day. Now I'm going back 10, 15 years, right? And I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, wait a minute, this joker can come in here and make this kind of money, and I'm doing the same work. And so that's when the light bulb for me came on and said, you know what? Not only does government need this, the government, one, will pay for it, but so will other people. And so about 10, 11 years ago, I started dabbling. And long story short, 6 years ago, I actually walked away from federal service. So this is my 7th year of being an entrepreneur. And I've grown my business from, the one person who shows up and does the training for an organization to working with teams of contractors and working across the United States and even globally. So it's been an amazing thing. And one of my business ventures includes this partnership that I currently have with both you and Dr. Nick, where we help entrepreneurs grow their business. So that's kind of like the Cliff Notes version of how I got into this space and what drives me to continue to grow my business.
Well, that is awesome and exciting. Thanks very much, Angela, for giving us a little background. So I am Cedrick LaFleur. I know everybody on Facebook already knows me, but let me just tell those 3 or 4 people who don't know who I am. I am an entrepreneur. I am the one who started LaFleur Leadership Institute. I am the one who is in schools all over the United States. They call me King of Schools, but tonight I'm King of Expansions. And so if you want to know how to get in schools, how to work with schools, whether it's teachers, principals, administrators, students, all of those, everybody who touches a student, then you need to be reaching out to me. But I am the chief executive for LaFleur Leadership Institute, and we love teaching leadership development and growth mindset to organizations across the United States. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. My background is in clinical laboratory science. I spent 22 years with a pharmaceutical company, and retired from there February 8, 2018. And I have been running and gunning ever since with the LaFleur Leadership Institute. And we are growing and expanding as we speak. And I'm looking forward to talking about this topic tonight because it's definitely near and dear to me. So I'm looking forward to the conversation tonight. So thanks very much, everyone. So let's just get started. Angela, when we think about expansion, right, there's not a growth-minded organization in the U.S. or in the world, actually, that doesn't want to expand, right? And when we think about expansion, it refers to the growth of a business, taking it to another level, taking it to a stage which seeks out additional options, new opportunities to generate new profit, maybe gain some new customers, maybe it's just expanding the business in your current customers, right? That's what expansion is all about, right? And I mentioned some of those companies earlier tonight who all look to grow and expand, right? And this is what we want to help you with tonight. I see my good friend, Joe Nimmers is tuned in to us tonight. Now, this guy right here is the king of, I called him the king of sales leaders earlier because he's the ultimate leader. He was my leader when I was with Abbott for all those years, and he's an awesome guy. But he says, very impressive. He's talking about Angela. It's like many move from government to consult within your field, but very few transition to entrepreneurship. He says, looking forward to this tonight. Thanks, Joe, for tuning in. We definitely look forward to it. Joe has a new book that's coming out, and I can't wait to get it in my hands here. He shipped it out to me yesterday or today, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I see that our good friend Eric Reed is on here as well, and he says, girl, talking to you, you're you're a businesswoman. Own it. All right. I like that. Thanks.
That too. I received that.
Yeah. So, Angela, so what do you think about when you think about business expansion? What is it that comes to mind for you?
So when I think about expansion and when I sit down and really, one of the things that I learned for you, let me start here, is that during December, you would often say, well, I'm taking the month of December off because I want to think into my business and set my goals for the next year. And while I still don't take off the whole month, one of the things that I did add to my business, though, was the quiet time. For those of you who read John Maxwell books, John calls that the margin time, when you really just sit and think into your business. And so part of, for me, as I think into those phases, it's me trying to think about how can I grow? How can I expand? And
wait, hold on, Angela. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. I'm going to let you get back to that. But we have in our presence the president of my fan club, Ms. Dr. Sitsi Hungway, tuning in tonight. I just have to say that. I'm sorry, but go ahead, Angela.
Well, if we're going to call out her titles, then we would be remiss if we didn't also acknowledge that she is my daughter.
Yeah.
My self-proclaimed daughter. Look, her mother has given me permission and my daughter has given her permission. So we are mother-daughter now. So, but yes. So one of the things that I think about is, one, when I think of growth, for me, it first started in how can I do more? And so what I meant by that was, one thing about entrepreneurs, many of us, which is why I love the book, The E-Myth, we work so hard in our business that we don't work on our business. And it really made me think about, like, for instance, like I only get 24 hours a day, or I get 24 hours, I shouldn't say only. So I can't get more time, but how can my business touch more people within those same hours? So the first way I looked to grow was really to have some 1099s or other coaches and trainers represent my business. So then I could take on more clients. I could service bigger organizations, bid on bigger contracts as still Menifield and Associates, but I didn't have to be present. And so it gave me a good feeling. Excuse me, the sneeze had to come. It gave me a good feeling, for instance, to know that I was on vacation, but coaching was still happening, for instance, on behalf of my business. And so there was billable hours still taking place. So for me, that was the first way I began to look at expansion. What about you?
Yeah, well, when I think of expansion, I really go back to my corporate days, and I learned a lot from about business and business expansion when I was in global marketing. And when we think about expansion, it's trying to grow your business, but in two different areas, right? And it can be more than two, but the primary two I'm thinking about are growing your existing customer base, taking those customers and growing what they're doing in you. So let's say a customer's spending $100,000 a year with you right now, taking that business to $150,000, $200,000, right? Current customer. Then the other expansion I think about is new customer. They're billing $0 with you, and now you're trying to gain their business. So you take them from zero to hero status with you, right? That's what I think about when I think of expansion. And I love both of those. Some people think they have to do one or the other. And I will tell you that you can do both. So take the R and throw it away and put AND, because you can have both. You just have to be willing to work and know how to do that. So we're going to give some specific examples tonight on how to do that and why that is so important, right? So when I think about how to expand your business, right? strategies to expand your business, right? I'm just going to list out a few and then we'll talk about them. And audience, if you have some other ones, like I said earlier, feel free to throw those out. But one is optimizing your existing marketplace, right? Knowing the customer that you have today, knowing them so well that you help them know that they're ready to expand before they think that they're ready to expand. Meaning you're going to sell them an opportunity that they didn't realize that they really wanted and that they need, right? So taking a current customer, let's say if you're in the leadership development space and you're just doing training for them with them right now, right? Taking that customer and then starting doing one-on-one coaching with them as well while you're doing training, right? Expanding to a new department within that organization. That's really how you optimize your existing market, your new customer, right? Then you can claim a niche market, right? So let's say you know that let's say, for example, I work in school systems a lot, right? But I know that I want to get into a government sector, or I know that I want to go from, last year when I wanted to expand outside of Houston and go to Dallas, right? Remember, I was telling you guys, I then targeted specific companies in Dallas to expand to. Right now, I'm in the mode of transitioning or expanding to California, right? You know, California is just a suburb of Texas. That's it. So
I hear you. Keep talking. I'm turning on the light.
Okay. So I'm expanding. I'm growing my customer base is what I'm doing now. I'm going to talk about a specific part of expanding within that expansion here in just a second, right? But the other way of expanding is by seeking referrals, right? You get your current customers to refer you to someone else within their organization, or it could be to someone outside of their organization, right? That's another way to expand your business. Partnering with other businesses, all right? That's really what Angela and Dr. Nick and myself did when we formed Black Entrepreneurs Institute, is to expand our business. You could also do franchising, right? But let me, before I turn it over to Angela, let me talk about expanding within an expansion, okay? So I said I want to expand my business from Texas into California, right? So now what I'm also going to have to do is bring on new people, hire some new people to help me with that growth, right? So now what am I doing? I'm partnering with other people, and that's going to allow me to be able to do more and still be right here in Texas, because I'm going to have other feet on the street doing it, right? They're expanding their business as well, because now they're going to have some opportunity to gain some revenue from me with this deal. So you see how the cycle happens. And this is on a small scale, folks. This is what happens with the Googles and the Microsofts and the Abbott Laboratories and the major companies. When you see them buying up other companies, they're expanding. That's all they're doing. Right.
And Cedrick, that's a great point. Yeah. And and two, and I loved how you brought out, like, your existing customer space, offering them more things, because some of us, as you said, started with doing a training, and we would go to organizations, deliver our content, and go home. And then as we continue to grow, for instance, we've both written books. Well, that's expansion, right? Because now we're authors. And so we have a physical product that people can buy from us, whether it's when they see us, or they can go to Amazon or wherever it may be and actually buy that product. And the expansion of things like books, ebooks, courses, what it gives us is a wider reach. Because again, we can only physically be in so many places at a particular time. But a book allows people who we may never meet to tap into our body of work And studies tell us that once a person has bought from you once, they're more inclined to make a second purchase. So the first purchase is always the most difficult. And that was another thing, as I looked at expanding, often I will enter the room for a smaller threshold or for a lesser service, as when you think about the volume of services, because I know so confidently that once I get in that room, they're going to ask me to come back. And then I get an opportunity to offer more and more services to, again, expand. So, recently I've been on a contract with one of my current clients. And so up till now, all I had done was maybe disc workshops and coaching. And so they put this request for proposals out so that I could bid on other things like, training and, some consulting type work. Again, things they didn't know I even did until I had an opportunity to get in there and do the smaller thing first.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so you have to, there's some things that you have to do in order to expand, right? Everybody wants more profit. Everybody wants more money, right? And this shirt says it all. I specifically wore this shirt on purpose. I have my BEI shirt right here. If I needed to put it on, Van said, I have this shirt on. I have it right here. All right, because Angela's the boss. So I'm right here.
Now y'all know who the boss is. Look, we know who's running this joint. Look, don't even play.
So, everybody wants the
I
money.
see you in the chat. Save me.
Everybody wants the money, but nobody wants to work. That's the thing. You have to be ready. You have to be willing, and you have to be able to do the work, because with expansion is going to come additional work, right? So that means you have to be prepared. You have to be ready for that growth. So that means that in order to be prepared and ready, that means you have to plan.
Yeah.
You see, you can't just wake up one day and say, I want to expand, and then just think it's going to happen. You got to plan for that. You have to be very intentional about it, right? And when I talked about expanding to Dallas, I was very intentional about a few things. I started targeting organizations in Dallas, right? I started to go to Dallas so that I could be around those businesses and have that conversation with those people, right? Then I changed my pricing strategy for those businesses, so I could specifically eliminate pricing as an issue. It doesn't mean I didn't charge. Okay, now so wait a minute. Let's slow down a little bit here. All right, I'm still in a business to make profit. Okay.
King of Sales. So King of Sales did make a sale.
Exactly. Joe Nimmers didn't teach us to, say give the store away. You still have to make a profit. Okay. I just tweaked my pricing a little bit to make it more attractive for that new audience. Mm-hmm. Right. I got the new audience, and the business is going well. And then as we incrementally grow, we'll get back to our regular pricing, you see? So it's a strategy, it's a technique. You got to plan that. I remember you guys were doing a Emerald call, and I was driving back from Dallas one night and said, what I was doing, right, to expand there. And ultimately I got the business there. So you have to plan, you have to be ready. So Joe says, question for Angela. The minds of most entrepreneurs never turn off. Cedrick is exhibit A of this. He's told me that he does his best work at 3 a.m. Are you wired the same way?
I am similarly wired. It's so interesting because I had talked to someone, I'll use as an example, over the weekend about something, and I'm on, Central Time this week, but early in the morning before the alarm goes off, I'm laying in the bed writing the proposal in my mind. And so I'm highly analytical, Joe. So my mind is always going. And I do my best work, though I have to visualize it and see it. So I literally write my proposals in my mind first, and I see how I'm going to say it and map it out. So then when I get to the computer, I can whip it out like this. But I've played it over in my mind a few times. And, whether it's I'm watching TV, and I like shows like Shark Tank and The Profit, I'm watching and looking at these businesses or their proposals, and I'm dissecting like what's working well, what isn't. But my mind is always going. And then sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this new idea. And I need to figure out like, how do I implement it? I think technology is not Cedric's friend now. Earlier it was me, but he'll be back shortly. And so in essence, my mind is always going now. The difference between me and Cedric, and both of us are disc professionals, and so we're built differently. Cedric is the kind of person, and I've begun to be more like him, whereas he has a new idea, he implements it just like that. So Cedric is like, oh, I thought about a new program. And in a week, it's on the market. He done already made a post about it. Hey guys, I'm gonna be offering this new program starting in July, and starts baiting people for it. I'm a little bit more analytical. And so I want to think about like, how would I do it? When would I do it? How would I, who would be the person? But again, working with people who have different behavioral styles has really been a benefit to me, because now I'm more inclined to say, you know what? I had this idea and I think I'm going to do it. And then look, I told him internet won't, sometimes it does what it does, but I held the fort down for you, Cedric. I even gave you a couple of compliments while you was gone. But but I was expressing how, while we are similar in some ways, one of the things that I've really learned from you is you take action really quickly. And I used to be more analytical. And now I see how, some of the strength of you has rubbed off on me, because sometimes I'll put stuff out there and I haven't thought into it any further than the original idea, because I have enough confidence in my ability to do it and do it well, that I know now I don't need all the weeds. I don't need all the logistics. I just need to put it out there, because if it was given to me, and I believe that things are given to us, then somebody wants it. That's why it was given to me.
Yes. Awesome. Well, I don't know what happened, folks, but my internet just like, first of all, out here on the beach, I can't complain too much. You can see that little dolphin back there trying to chase me down, but that's in my backyard. We don't have much. We don't have great internet service here. That's the only bad thing. So I'm using this Tesla high-speed internet thing, and it has its own mind sometimes. So if I cut out, just charge it to that, and not that I'm running away from the conversation. All right. So, I'm not critical, because I got the same problem. So literally we commiserate about internet sometimes. So it is what it is. We make the best of it. Yeah, we definitely try to make the best of it. So here's what I want to do, Angela. I want our audience, if you've gone through some type of expansion, or you're thinking about going through some expansion, throw some questions in the comments, so we can answer those questions. So, but let's think about, when should you expand, right? Timing is key and critical for expansion. Not all expansion is good. Sometimes you can expand too fast. Give you some examples of some businesses. Well, I better not call on their business name, because I don't want them to come after me and think they can come live over here on my beach house. But timing is important, right? One, you have to know your space before you expand, right? You got to know more. You got to know that you can handle more business in order to expand. You got to understand, is your market ready to expand? Or are you moving too early? And if it's not ready, can you jumpstart it? Okay. You got to also make sure that if you expand and you bring in new people, are you going to have consistent revenue in order to keep up with what you're going to have to pay people? Let me say something here, guys. Look, when you get ready to expand, you're going to have to make sure that you're bringing in the money, right, so that you can pay your people to do their work. Right? As I'm trying to expand into California right now, and every person I've interviewed and told them, look, I'm excited that you want to look at this opportunity and take advantage of it, but know that I'm going to pay you. One lady said, "Oh no, I want to do it because of experience." Well, that's nice, but at LaFleur Leadership Institute, we pay you for your service, right? And if I eat, then everybody else should eat, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you just have to be ready and make sure that your business can handle that expansion. Make sure that you have the funds to grow, right? Because you may have some additional expenses that come up in order to grow. So again, that goes back to what I said earlier. You have to plan these things. You can't just wake up one day and say, "I'm going to expand," and think it's going to just work out. I see Dr. Nick come on, pay me. See, you always want to get paid.
That's right. Where the money resides. I hear you, Dr. Nick.
I ain't mad at Dr. Nick. Go ahead and do your thing. So Edward has a question here. He says, what advice will you give to transition from one-on-one coaching to group coaching? That's a great question, Edward. So, Angie, you want to tackle that first, or you want me to go?
Well, for me, one-to-one coaching, the biggest difference for me in my business is just how many people can I serve with that 1 hour. So while it's definitely expanding a type of service, it's really, that one's probably the biggest one that I do for me. As in, I got the awareness really quick that if I'm doing one-to-one coaching, just like right now, if I was working with Cedrick in this hour, Cedrick is the only person paying the hourly rate, and you can only go so high, right? So if I wanted to make more money in this hour, then how do I do it? Well, I could offer my services to more people within this same hour and charge everybody a fraction. But as that number gets bigger and bigger, now that 1 hour has grossed me a whole nother dollar amount. And then going back to what Cedrick said, the first call, I may have been able to do it on the phone, right? The one-to-one. But now with this group coaching, I may need a professional Zoom plan because, you don't want your Zoom account with the free one to lock down at 45 minutes because people had questions. And I have seen that happen, right? Like, we got to spend a little bit more money with the expansion. And so whether that's Zoom, free conference call, there's tons of platforms out there, but you may have to spend a little bit more money. You may have to give them more resources. You may have to invest in some type of other groups for them to connect outside of the actual coaching call. So that expansion becomes more than just I'm bringing more people in to pay me for that 1 hour of time. It's how do I serve them, and that everybody leaves the experience feeling as if they got what they needed, or at least it was available. So it's kind of like a buffet. I can, as long as I put food out, if everybody don't leave full, they can't blame me, right? Because if you don't eat, that's on you. But I fed you. And so that's the other piece of expansion. Are you meeting the needs? Are you creating these groups where there's synergy, right? Grouping the right people in a group coaching call and other things like that.
Yeah. So one-on-one coaching is great. It has its place, and you can really hone in on a person's needs and their areas that they want to grow, right? So when you convert over to group coaching, you can serve some individual needs there, but you're going to be thinking more of groupthink, right? And so making that transition, I say that it can be easy if you position it the right way with your clients. Let's say you have 10 people that you're doing one-on-one coaching with now, and you want to transition them to group coaching, right? You want to make it a natural transition for them. So you want this week one-on-one and next week group coaching, right? You want to transition them, get them ready for that. Hey, putting some things in their mind that they can benefit from other people being in the group, right? Helping them make that transition. Then when you transition to that group coaching, you have to be ready from a pricing perspective, right? Make sure that you have clear guidance for your client on how that's going to work. If it's going to change, how it's going to change, and the benefits of the change, right? From a pricing perspective. Then the change from why should they go to a group coaching session, and how would they benefit from that? You have to have clear lines of why. Here are the benefits, 3 to 5 benefits for you. Here's what you're going to get from this group coaching session, right? Then you want to also help them understand if they decide to get out of the group versus staying in the group, what that would look like. So when I say what that will look like, not necessarily from a pricing perspective, but at some point they may be ready to go back to one-on-one. Okay. How should they signal to you that they're ready to go back to one-on-one? And you have to also then be paying attention to those signals, right? Because you may go to a person who is an introvert and they're good in that one-on-one session with you, but they go to a group session and that introvert in them really kicks in and they're very quiet and everybody else is talking and they're not engaged. That, you're losing them. So you have to be prepared as a coach then to make sure you're bringing them in. Hey, Angela, can you answer that question for us? Because she's not just going to answer it if you say, hey, group, somebody answer this for us or discuss this, right? So as a coach, you have to be ready for that transition and don't think that it's going to work the same way it did in a one-on-one type of setting. The 5 levels of leadership really come to mind for me around this question. You could be at a certain level. Let's say you're at level 3 or 4 with each one of those people in a one-on-one setting. Well, guess what? That may change in a group environment because you're no longer just focused on one person. So you have to be very cognizant as a coach to understand that and notice if that change is happening, right? And be prepared for that. Personally, I'm more of the group coaching or training than the one-on-one, but you just have to know what works best for you, right?
Right,
so,
right.
Go ahead, Angela. You're gonna say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you. No, you're exactly right. For me too, even though I do enjoy the one-to-one, it really goes back to the original comment that I made. As I want to grow my business, I just know those hours spent on one-to-one, unless I'm charging, some pricing that, you just get to a point you be like, come on now, really? Even if people will pay it, like really? And so I limit the number of one-to-one coaching I'll just do at any given time because there's only so many hours, a month that I want to dedicate to that space. And then, like I said, I'm at a season where for me, expansion is also expansion and impact. So I can impact more people in a group setting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's 3 words that I use. I have a shirt for it. Actually, I thought I was going to wear that shirt to this call tonight. It's influence, empower, and impact, right? Influence is having an effect on someone. Impact is having a strong effect on someone. And then empower is helping someone go to another level, maybe gain more confidence, self-assurance, in themselves, right? So as you think about this in your business and your expansion, I would tell you to answer those 3 questions. How are you going to influence more people? How can you influence more people? How can you impact more people? And how can you empower more people, right? You answer those 3 questions and then ask, am I ready to expand.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And once you can answer that, if you can't answer it, yes, I'm ready to expand and I can handle expansion, then that means you're not ready. If you have to think about it, you got to consider it and sleep on it, you're not ready. Right? When your business is ready for expansion, you're going to know it because
Right.
I would say you get bored in what you're doing. Right? When I know that, boom, I have these customers handled and I can just do it very easily, that means I'm ready to grow some more anymore. So that means I'm ready to expand. So then you got to decide how you're going to expand. Are you going to expand in
Right.
your existing market or existing customer? Or are you going to expand with new customers? Are you going to partner with someone? Are you going to franchise out? Right? And when I think of these things, again, I think of revenue generating ideas. I'm not talking about volunteer status. That's all nice and benevolence is great. Okay. We all have some of that, but we can't run a profitable business on pure benevolence. Okay. Denise says, please share your thoughts on using a staffing company to find staff as you expand, or do you recommend hiring your team directly? That's a great question. Angela, you want to take that first because you're the HR, the queen of HR, right?
Yeah, I going back to one of Cedric's answers earlier, there is no one way. As the quote goes, this is a way, not the way. I think it really depends. It also depends on what field you're in. Certain fields, the quality of individuals that a staffing company may be able to get you and their reach, because they're doing the marketing, they're doing the vetting, they're doing the paperwork, like they're doing all those things. And so then the quality could, of course, get you what you need. But other times, like in some of the spaces that we're in, what we see is that you need to have the direct contact. You need to do the interviewing because it depends on what they're doing. What are they doing for your organization? So theoretically, Cedric and I, for instance, are both coaches and trainers. So the people we expand with, we know, like, how do we want them to represent or show up with the audience? We also know how we want them to be able to represent our business, the direct content, the engagement, their command of the content. Do they understand it, and all those other things? If it was something, for instance, like I've used a staffing company for some VA work. So that is a little different because these individuals are mostly directed, their interaction is with me versus not as much as my clients. And so I think it really depends, but it also, again, depends on the quality of the staffing company and what are the things they can do for you. Because if you're going to now spend all your time recruiting and interviewing and marketing and doing all the things to get the 3 or 4 people, now you're no longer working on your business. You've just given yourself a new role and become an HR person. So there's no right or wrong, but really think through it and get someone, that you can consult with, like a Cedric or me, and how we help our business boot campers make some of these decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree that there's not a right or wrong way. I personally prefer to interview the people myself. And because I'm not going to ask the standard interview questions, I'm asking more rapport questions. I want to understand who the person is, if I can work with that person. See, that person could be the best trainer. They may have a lot of experience training people, coaching people, right? But if I can't work with them because our chemistry just doesn't match up, then I don't care how much experience they have. So I am going to be asking, those type questions, and it's just going to be more of a conversation to see if I can see myself working with that person or talking with that person. We all have our quirks, and I definitely have mine, and I know within a matter of first few minutes if I can work with a person or not.
I would agree.
And so so that's why I like the more direct approach when I'm looking for 1099 people to contract with. So that's my thanks, Denise, for that question. That's a great question.
So we got about 5 minutes, so I guess we should probably let people know that they can work with us.
Oh yeah, go right ahead. I wasn't even paying attention to time. I thought we had hours and hours, but pausing you plugged a little bit.
So one of the ways that Cedrick, Dr. Nicole, and myself, decided to give back once we really started to get the hang of this entrepreneurship thing, or as Eric says, this businesswoman thing, was to help other people looking to either turn their hustle into a business, people who had started in business but maybe felt like they kept hitting a wall or a lid, and just looking to overcome some of the barriers with entrepreneurship. So we created the Business Bootcamp for minority business owners. Now, having said that, what we know is this: all business owners need support. What we found is we focused our niche on looking to help some of those minority business owners, because oftentimes they cannot find the resources. But our bootcamp graduates come from all walks of life, all types of businesses, all nationalities, all demographics. But what we do is we help people with, revisiting their business plan, finding their niche, branding. One of the things that really people get a lot out of is the sales and negotiations and all those types of things. Because guess what? Many people are good at what they do, but nobody's still buying from them because they don't know how to have a discovery meeting. They don't know how to close a deal. They don't know how to negotiate a contract, write a proposal, or just simply sell. And these are the strengths that we have. And so we put all of that together into an 8-week boot camp. And we have a fall cohort beginning September 13th. You see the date there. And so when you join the boot camp, you get to work with myself, Cedrick, and Dr. Nicole. We consider ourselves the board you can't afford because we think into your business. We answer similar questions like we've been answering tonight, but we're taking deep dives because you spend hours with us each week. It's intensive, but it takes you to that next level. And because also this is Memorial Day weekend, we will be running a Memorial Day offer. So this is the week for you to register. So by the end of the year, your business can be exactly where you need it to be moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. And, with our business bootcamp, folks, let me tell you something. I get people all the time asking me, how do I do what I do? If you want to understand how I do what I do, then you need to come in and walk right next to me. And you can do that in the business bootcamp, right? I put out there what I do in my business from a financial standpoint. I put out there, pictures and videos of things that I'm doing in my business. I do it on purpose, folks, because I want people to see and understand and know that it's possible if you're willing to do the work. Right. And if you're in this leadership development space, folks, I'm telling you, there's no other business boot camp that's going to help you like this one. Right. And I'm going to tell you now, if you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking to expand your business, if you're looking to just have some business, I'm telling you, you need to be in this business boot camp. Right now, I'm a no-nonsense type of guy. I'm a DI on the DISC scale. I'm a high D, so I'm all about action, and I'm not going to be a whole lot of fluff. And if it works, I'm going to tell you if it works. If it doesn't, I'm going to tell you it doesn't work as well, or I won't say anything at all. I know, for example, when you come to this business boot camp, you're going to learn some things, right? One, I'm teaching the sales component. I teach the negotiations, the delivery, the
discovery.
What's the discovery meeting? Yeah, I was gonna say delivery meeting. Discovery meeting, right? Moving the commas is all about moving dollars in your business. I teach that course, right? Angela teaches certain courses. Dr. Nick teaches certain courses. But I'm telling you, most people don't understand how to work sales, how sales work. Most people don't understand how to negotiate. Most people are afraid of those first meetings. I'm telling you, you're going to learn in this. You're going to grow. And if you want to do this business and generate revenue, then you need to get in the boot camp. Otherwise, you can continue to get inspired and be inspired every day to just be inspired. But if you want to make money, then you need to get in this boot camp. Thank you guys very much. I'm sorry, but we got to go. They telling me they about to unplug it. They about to start the music. So I'm going to go ahead and start the music on them. They ain't going to get me.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.